Most people believe that extraordinary people are different from everyone else. They think successful leaders, athletes, inventors, and entrepreneurs were born with gifts that ordinary people could never possess. Ethan Carter believed that too. He grew up in a small town where life moved slowly and opportunities seemed limited. Ethan wasn't the smartest student in school. He wasn't the fastest runner or the most talented speaker. Whenever teachers asked difficult questions, he stayed quiet because he feared giving the wrong answer. As the years passed, Ethan began comparing himself to others. He watched classmates win awards, earn recognition, and receive praise. Meanwhile, he felt invisible. Slowly, a dangerous belief took root in his mind. I'm just an ordinary person. After finishing school, Ethan found a simple office job. Every day felt exactly the same. He woke up early, traveled to work, completed repetitive tasks, and returned home tired. One evening, while scrolling through social media, he saw stories of successful people. Entrepreneurs were building companies. Athletes were breaking records. Authors were publishing books. Ethan sighed. They're special, he whispered. I could never do that. A few days later, while walking home from work, Ethan noticed an elderly man sitting alone on a park bench reading a book. For some reason, Ethan sat nearby. After a few minutes, the old man looked up and smiled. You seem troubled. Ethan laughed. I guess I am. Why? Because I'm average. The old man closed his book and looked directly at him. Who told you that? Ethan paused. No one. Then why do you believe it? The question stayed in Ethan's mind long after he left the park. Over the next several weeks, he returned often and spoke with the old man. Their conversations covered life, success, failure, and dreams. One evening, Ethan finally asked the question that had been bothering him for years. What makes some people extraordinary? The old man smiled. The answer is much simpler than most people think. Ethan leaned forward eagerly. The secret is consistency. Ethan blinked. That's all. The old man nodded. Most people wait until they feel motivated. Extraordinary people build habits. Most people make excuses. Extraordinary people take action. Most people quit when progress is slow. Extraordinary people keep going. The words sounded simple, but they carried enormous power. The next morning, Ethan decided to test the old man's advice. Instead of wasting hours online after work, he spent 30 minutes learning a new skill. The following day, he repeated the habit, then another day, and another. At first, nothing changed. The progress was almost invisible, but Ethan kept going. Weeks turned into months. For the first time in years, he felt like he was moving forward. Little did he know, his life was about to change forever. Months passed, and Ethan continued improving himself every day. 30 minutes of learning became an hour. One new skill led to another. His confidence slowly grew. People at work noticed the difference. Ethan began solving problems more effectively and taking initiative. Soon, his manager trusted him with greater responsibilities. One afternoon, Ethan rushed to the park to share his progress with the old man. The elderly mentor listened carefully and smiled. You've already started discovering the secret. Ethan nodded. But why doesn't everyone do this? The old man reached down and picked up a tiny seed from the ground. Tell me what you see. A seed, Ethan replied. The old man held it up. Most people see only a seed. Extraordinary people see a future tree. He continued. A giant tree begins with something small. It grows little by little, day after day. Success works exactly the same way. At that moment, everything became clear. The extraordinary people Ethan admired weren't successful because they were lucky. They simply stayed consistent long enough for results to appear. From that day forward, Ethan stopped looking for shortcuts. Years passed. He continued reading books, learning skills, and improving himself. Eventually, he started his own company. The journey wasn't easy. There were failures. There were financial struggles. There were moments when quitting seemed like the smartest choice. But Ethan remembered the seed. He remembered consistency. Most importantly, he remembered that progress didn't need to be fast, it only needed to continue. Slowly, his business grew. Customers arrived. The company expanded. Success followed years of steady effort. One day, Ethan was invited to speak at a conference attended by hundreds of young people. Standing on stage, he looked out at the crowd and remembered the insecure young man he once was. After his speech, a student raised a hand. What made you extraordinary? The room became silent. Ethan smiled. Nothing. The audience looked confused. He continued. I wasn't born with special talent. I wasn't the smartest person in the room. So what was your secret? The student asked. Ethan remembered the old man sitting on the park bench. Then he answered, I simply stopped quitting. The audience erupted into applause. Years later, Ethan returned to the same park hoping to thank the old man who had changed his life. But the bench was empty. No one seemed to know where he had gone. Yet the lesson remained. The secret behind extraordinary people isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't genius. It's showing up every day, doing the work, and refusing to quit when progress feels slow. Because greatness isn't built in a single moment. It is built one small action at a time. And that's good news, because the same secret that transformed Ethan's life is available to anyone. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is often just one more day of not giving up.